So, Gabby, where do we even start? What do you just want to like introduce yourself, set the scene? Who are you?
Yeah, I'm Gabi. I'm a session player, touring mainly. Done a little bit of studio stuff, but predominantly since my career started, I've done more live shows and sort of working with bands in a live environment. Really.
How did you get into it?
Do you know what? I didn't even realise it was a job. Like, I guess at the beginning, to be honest with you, and now, like, when I tell people what I do, they're just like, what? Like, that's a job? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was kind of the same. I kind of started to realise that it was a thing when I was at uni. And I just started to really enjoy playing other people's songs and, like, just sort of the challenge of, like, being given something and having to do it, like, perfectly or, you know, put my own spin on it and stuff like that. So that's kind of where it started at uni. Like, I sort of made the transition from, like, well, I physically actually went from doing a creative degree into a popular music degree, which was more like session-based type vibe. And then from there, I just started playing with different people, like just from my music school. And then whilst I was in my second year, I got asked if I wanted to audition for a guy called Declan McKenna, who's like an indie pop rock.
I know him. I love
from
him.
the UK, yeah. So
everyone should know him in London if they don't already.
He's great. He's playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Are you gonna go watch?
I think so. Yeah, he's on my short list.
You should.
So,
yeah. He's got a new lineup in his band now. Apart from Isabel, who is amazing.
Okay.
On guitar, they're great. You should see them.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
So yeah, to be honest with you, that's where it all started for me, working with Declan, and that was so I got the gig back in 2015. So I was basically touring with him from 2016 up until this year.
And basically. That was when he got his start, when he was 16 or something like that?
Yeah.
Really young.
I think it was 2015. Yeah, he was 16, and he won the Glastonbury Emerging Talent competition when I think he was 15, and then he got signed when I was 16. I think, don't quote me on it.
Fact check.
Something around that time. And then I think he always just wanted to work with a band. And because he was still really young, music school made sense because everyone obviously 20, like a similar age range.
Yeah.
And it was kind of perfect because he had just started and I'd never toured before, so it was very much new for all of us.
Yeah. Were you even thinking at that time that you wanted to do this professionally? Or you're obviously doing a degree, so there's got to be some forethought into it a little bit. But you got scooped up basically to audition.
Yeah, it was quite fortunate, to be honest with you, the way that it worked out, because I'd sort of, no one really goes to music school to get a degree in music.
Yeah,
I didn't need it. It's more like the network.
Yeah,
and being able to live in London.
Yeah,
and stuff. That's what I did anyway.
Because where are you from originally?
I'm from the south of England.
Okay, where south?
I lived just outside a town called Worthing.
Okay, I know Worthing. I lived in the UK for 5 years.
Oh, no way. Where did you live?
In London. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, from 2014 to 2019.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. Where in London did you live?
Camden.
Nice.
My hometown.
Oh, I love Camden.
Yeah,
That's cool. I lived in Willesden Green for 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so northwest, because my uni was in Kilburn.
Okay.
So that Jubilee line.
Yeah.
Vibes, you know. I forgot what the question was now, but yeah, basically it was.
Oh, were you planning on doing this as a career? Yeah.
Yeah, no. So I've always wanted to do music as a career in some form. I was obsessed with Avril Lavigne when I was a kid, and I just wanted to do something. I didn't know what, but I just knew that I wanted to do music. I didn't even play drums at that point.
Really?
In my life. It was just I love music. I just wanted to do it in some form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it definitely made sense, in the progression. I would say that it wasn't. I was more unaware of the levels that it would take me to.
Yeah.
I just thought that it was going to be 1 or 2 shows, maybe a tour or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really expect it to sort of take off in the way that it did.
Yeah.
So that was probably the more unexpected part of it, as opposed to was it going to turn into my career? Because I did want that to happen.
Yeah.
I was just sort of waiting for the right thing to come along.
Yeah. Well, because it wasn't like Declan was somebody that people knew who he was quite yet.
No.
You're not being asked to audition for a big name band right off the bat. You're just going in not knowing.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. So it was just super I think he had Brazil out at that time, but I'd never heard it.
Yeah.
And I think at the time he probably had I think I checked him out on Instagram before I auditioned, and he had 6,000 followers or something.
Okay.
So it was super, super before it really took off for him.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, you know? So yeah, and the progression was kind of mad, really. I mean, even when we started touring, it was, the shows were like, I think there was one show we did, it was like 10 people in the crowd, maybe.
Whoa.
And like, I mean, it's just character building.
Yeah.
And I was just happy to be there.
Yeah.
You know, it was great.
So you're not like, oh, this is shit, I'm just performing for 10 people, this isn't what I wanted. You're just like, I'm just thrilled to be in the room.
Yeah, and do you know what? When you grow up doing gigs, you just get used to doing gigs. I mean, 10 people in some cases is a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, I've done gigs to less people.
Yeah.
When I was younger. So you just I swear you don't really know that you're in it.
Yeah.
Until like after, and then you're like, oh, actually, like that was a really important part of my journey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you toured with him for ages.
Yeah.
How long did you say? 7 years?
I think it was like 7 and a bit years.
Yeah.
Or something.
Okay.
But it wasn't just me. It was like so there was like four of us in the band in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then we had another guy join like 1 or 2 years into it, and it stayed as us 5, more or less, over that whole time. So it wasn't just Declan. It was like all of us session players as well. We just became like a proper like family unit.
Yeah.
And it was just super nice. So when it came to like this year, I mean, I wasn't actually the first one to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Our keyboard player went, and he's working with Bombay Bicycle Club now.
Oh, cool.
But it was because he first told me, and it was like a weird sort of like shift. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we've always all been so used to working together, it almost was like, what's on the other side of that?
Yeah.
For me, anyway. I don't know if it's the same for the others. But then when Nathan said he was leaving, it's like, oh, that's mad. Do you know what I mean?
Because you built this like little tight knit community that does everything together. When you're touring together, we have no idea what that's like. But I mean, at work for me, it's a small team. There's 6 of us that like when one person goes, the entire culture changes, and you're like,
yeah,
fuck, how are we going to either like replicate that or like try and build something new out of this? Because when it's so small, one person can just feel like night and day difference.
Yeah, that's it. And I feel like we were such a unit as well, and we still are such a unit. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm going for dinner with Declan as well this evening, actually. So we will always all have that sort of shared history and that connection together. But yeah, it was just quite mad, really, because it felt like someone fleeing the nest.
Yeah.
You know? And it was a bit like, oh my God, like, because you just don't ever think that's actually going to happen. But obviously it is, because that's the nature of like careers, and people go in different directions, and that's just how it works. But you don't actually ever think about it happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was kind of a weird catalyst. And then I suppose, and then literally like a month later, my phone rang, and then like the same opportunity, a similar opportunity sort of came to me, and I thought, shit, like,
yeah,
I might be doing the same thing now.
So
like,
were you the second one to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was quite mad. But I mean, I spoke to Declan about it, and he was like, you know, he would never want to sort of stop me from exploring other opportunities and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I feel like that, I mean, that's probably something that if you're like the principal artist, I don't know what you call it in music, but the principal person or the key member of the band or whatever it is, you probably have like a knowledge or understanding that people aren't going to stay with you forever. And like if they do, great. But that's just the progression of anybody's career or anybody's life, is like people move on, people find new opportunities, people like want something more different or to shake things up. Yeah,
100%. And even if it's not, you know, I mean, Declan could have fired me because he wanted a new vibe. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's just the nature of how it works.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has to be expected.
Yeah.
I just think that we got so lucky with how our unit like started and progressed and how we all grew together. It was kind of an anomaly in this industry. It doesn't often happen like that. So it was, and for it was all like our first proper gig as well.
Yeah.
So it definitely, I think because of that, makes it feel a little bit more special and closer to home, because we've all had that connection for so long, and since we were like, you know, since before we'd really started it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey though. It's been really good. I mean, even the past 7 years has been mental, to be honest with you. I think back now, I mean, I even think, you know, this year in itself has been mental, but the past 7 years in addition has also just been crazy. And I just think like well, to be honest with you, it doesn't even feel real still.
Yeah.
And I just, like, I'm just in it, and I'm just going, and I'm going through the motions, and I'll probably come to, like, 5, 10, 15 years' time when, like, it will probably hit me, and I'll think, what the fuck? Like, this is mental.
What parts of it feel, like, the most surreal to you?
I think, like, the size of the shows and just, like, the travelling and getting to see all these places in the world and getting to do all these crazy cool, like, festivals, TV shows, radio, meeting all these amazing people, and it just comes, like, as quickly as it goes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you, like, think about it when you're up there? Because I think that all the time when I'm watching live shows is I'm like, these are people at work, which is so, I don't know, so funny to me. Is like, I go to work, I have shitty days, I have wonderful days. I sometimes feel invigorated by my work, I sometimes don't. And then I, like, watch you guys on stage, you guys and other acts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. But are you sometimes just going through the motions and not being like, I'm playing to, 30,000 people, 50,000 people, however many are there?
I think, to be honest with you, the bigger the crowd, the less real it feels.
Okay.
Because it does just feel like they're photoshopped in.
Yeah.
Because quite often when you got the really big crowds, they're quite far back.
You can only see the people in the front 2 rows.
That's it, exactly. So it just turns into this, like, sea of, like, bodies. And obviously you know that it's people, but, like, your brain doesn't actually process that they are all people and they're all looking at you.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like, okay, well, you know, we're here to do this, so we'll just do that. And we'll sort of just pretend that that's not there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not even that I'm scared of being in front of that many people. It's more that my brain just doesn't even register that that's how many people there are.
Yeah.
I've always said that it's probably more nerve-wracking playing to a room of 50 people than, like, 50,000.
Yeah, because you can look people in the eye and see them and perceive their experiences or whatever.
Literally. That's exactly it. But yeah, I mean, like you say, that you have good days and bad days, like any job, especially when you're away for such a long amount of time. It would be impossible to feel good every single day.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing about playing shows for a living is that the energy does overtake you. So even if I'm feeling rubbish, I know that after playing a show, I'll probably feel better. Yeah. Because obviously you get that adrenaline and...
Oh my gosh, probably the most adrenaline ever.
Yeah, quite a mental amount.
Especially you in the back. I mean, the videos of you're just, like, always look like you're having the best time.
Yeah, it is fun. It is fun. The GoPro captures...
I love your GoPro cameras. Okay, but seriously, I have so many questions about that, though, because when you hear the audio of your GoPro videos, which you guys should go watch Gabi's GoPro videos. She sets up, like, a GoPro and... like, it just records her playing, basically. But the audio of that is you can predominantly just hear you and whatever it is that you're playing. And the rest of the music is just, like, background noise. Yeah. And is that, like, what you're experiencing when you're doing it? Or are you able to, like, take in the music or process what other people are doing or what it sounds like from, like, an audience perspective?
Yeah. I get this question a lot on, like, people commenting on my videos. Because obviously, especially with this gig, currently I'm doing percussion, so you can hear all sorts of everything, and then everything else sounds, like, really delayed. Yeah. But I don't hear that because I have my inners in. Yeah. So for me, it just sounds like a regular mix. You know what I mean? I've got, like, whatever levels I want of everyone. Yeah. So it all sounds blended in, but to the naked ear on the stage, if you're standing where I'm standing, then it would sound mental. Yeah. Because... obviously, I'm right there. George is right next to me. And then everything else is, like, going that way. Yeah. So it doesn't ever come back to me. All I can really hear if I take out my in-ears is me, George, and then the audience. Yeah. Like, that's it.
Because anything, for, like, any videos I see from the side stage of any gig, I'm like, that sounds not all what you would hear from the... from the audience.
I mean, it's kind of like... if you want to watch a show, watching it from side stage obviously is sick, but it never sounds good. If you want to watch a show... and hear it for how it's meant to sound, you want to go stand, like, at front of house. Yeah. Because then you get, like, the full experience.
Yeah, but you never can anymore because you have to camp to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I do want to ask you about stand culture, though, but I want to talk about what happens next in your career progression. Yeah. So you get a call to get poached up away from Declan to somewhere else. Teased where you're going next. But,
I say it was a call. It wasn't a call. It was an email. Okay. Yeah, just got an email asking if I was free for a session gig. Yeah. With the 1975. And I was kind of like, I was actually with my girlfriend when I received the email, and I was like, that's weird, because I knew they had a drummer. And I'm a drummer, I've always played drums, never, you know, that's what I'm, you know, known for, I guess, playing drums. So I
No,
was like,
I guess
maybe
you are known for that. That's
maybe,
what you're known for.
Maybe it's like, I don't know. I thought maybe it was a percussion gig, maybe it was a TV thing, a one-off. I don't know. Anyway, so then I hopped on a call with the manager. And then, he was basically just like, we're looking for a percussion player. Would you be interested? Like,
was it just for a one-off or?
No, so it was to leave in 5 weeks.
Okay.
To do like a 7-week round the world tour. And I was outside my studio and I remember being sat in my car, freezing my tits off. I was so cold, but I was so excited as well. And I was like shaking and chattering, but like I didn't want to sound it on the phone.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to like...
You're like, maybe I'll have to think about it. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, it's a big thing because obviously I knew that Declan had his next campaign coming up.
Yeah.
And that was due to start in like, I think a month and a bit. And then obviously I just got this call and it was a big decision to make because I've been with Declan for so long, but I also knew that it would have been a good opportunity and, you know, something different, meeting different people, and just a different sort of calibre of show as well, which was something that I really wanted to experience. So in those respects, it kind of was a no-brainer because there was just so many... There was no reason to not do it, to be honest with you. And it was difficult, to be honest, to sort of accept that I was going to be, like, I was going to have to, because no one else had ever played drums on a Declan gig, ever, since Declan started having drums on his shows.
The history of Declan.
Yeah. And so it was kind of like giving away my baby in a way, which is so bizarre because it's not even my songs.
No,
you know
but
what I mean? But I felt some sort of like protectiveness over it.
Yeah.
And it was so like, there was a certain like coming to terms of like, obviously this is going to come and this is going to happen and this is what it means to have a career, you know.
Yeah.
You move on to things and, you know, that's just how it works.
Yeah.
And it didn't take me long to decide. Like, I probably slept on it and then the next day I emailed the 1975's manager, Jamie, and I said like, yeah, I'm totally down. Sounds like fun. He'd sent me like the tracks and stuff. So that sort of was that settled, and then I thought, obviously, then I had to tell Declan. We had the conversation, and he was totally fine with it. I think it was kind of a bit, maybe a bit of a shock for him.
Yeah.
Maybe. But the drummer he has now, Ben, shout out Ben.
Love you, Ben. See you tomorrow, Ben.
Yeah, he's so sick. He really is sick.
Yeah.
I met him in January, and he was playing, well, he still is playing for a Brighton band called Soft Launch. A lot more like jazzy vibes and stuff. And I saw them play at Lolla for the first time and I just thought sounded fucking great.
Yeah.
Sounded really cool. The way that it's just been totally reinvented and the songs have been elevated and stuff, and yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And I was wondering when I first moved on, I was like, was I going to feel emotional like watching it without being there playing it? Like, was I going to feel like FOMO, or was I going to be like, oh, you know, I really wish that was me, or I don't know, like, but then when I watched it, I was just like elated, and I was just buzzing.
Yeah.
And I was just so happy to actually just watch it from another perspective, and it sounds sick.
Yeah.
And especially like it being with people that I've known for a while as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a hard conversation to have with Declan from your point of view?
It was. I was really nervous to send him a message. Obviously, it's never a nice thing to say or do to like pull out, especially because I'd already had conversations about the upcoming rehearsals and the plans for the setup and XYZ. But it was fine, like I say, it was totally fine. Me and Dec have always been really good friends over the years. I've always felt like he was kind of like a younger brother to me. So there wasn't any part of me that thought he wasn't going to take it well. It was more like I felt like I was letting him down.
Yeah.
But fortunately, it all worked out.
Yeah.
So it's good, really.
Yeah.
It was all good. And I think the timing of it couldn't have come at a better time either, because it wasn't like so close to what was going to be the start of the Declan campaign that I'd sort of like left him in the shit. It was like kind of right in the middle, so...
Yeah, so we still had time to find a replacement.
That's it.
Yeah, I could just slide right in and learn everything, and yeah.
That's it. So yeah, it actually worked out. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So once you accept a new gig, because you have to learn the entire discography. What's the process of learning everything?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, the mad thing about this gig in particular is that I'd never actually played percussion before.
What?
Yeah.
You're joking.
Yeah.
You've never played percussion before?
No, I had, like, obviously, I'd done, like, bits in the studio.
Yeah.
And I'd, you know, at uni I had some percussion lessons, but I'd never, like, played a percussion rig in a show. You know, obviously there's a lot of changing and all this sort of stuff. And I'm only saying this now because I've been doing it for a while. I wouldn't have said it otherwise.
That you pick up the phone, you're just like, yes, I am a very, very, very seasoned percussionist with lots of experience. Many gigs, just percussion and me.
Sometimes you do have to just fake it till you make it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
For sure.
Yep.
And I knew that this opportunity had come around for a reason.
Yeah.
And it was not one to turn down.
If you back yourself to learn it, if you're like, I know myself well enough that I can figure out everything that I need to do to be able to pull this off, whatever.
Yeah, and that, to be honest, that's literally the attitude that I had. I just thought, you know what, like I knew, I trusted my ability enough to know that I could easily get it down. And they sent me the set, they sent me all the parts, and, you know, I listened to it and I thought, yeah, I mean, that's totally achievable. So they actually sent me the rig down to my hometown, and I just booked out a studio there for a week. And I just had a week in this room, just myself and the rig. And I basically just structured out this whole rehearsal plan. And because, I mean, it was like 25 songs or something, which I think it was more than that, to be honest. Because they sent me the set list, and then there was like loads of other tunes that I'd found just from like digging through YouTube videos just to see, because they like switching the set up like most nights. So sometimes they'll throw a tune in. I mean, last night they played a tune and I was on stage playing it and I'd never even heard it before. And they just like throw things in, you know. But I like that. Yeah. It's fun, and with this job now, it's a lot more about the vibe. Yeah. You know, with drums, it's like holding it down and, you know, being there. Yeah. On the money and stuff. But with this, there's definitely more room to be a bit more, I suppose, creative and stuff. Yeah. So it doesn't make me feel, I don't know what the word is. I suppose a bit more like free on stage.
Well, you have like the creative freedom to kind of create within something that already exists. I don't know.
That's it. And George is like holding it down. Yeah. Like an absolute boss. He's insane. Yeah. And then I'm just like, you know, filling the space around him, basically. What was your original question?
Oh, no, it was just because the process of learning all of the discography and the songs
so I was in
is crazy to me, especially for a band that has years and years and years of discography. Like when you start with Declan, you're with him from the start of his career, and so you get to have that, like, even though they're his songs, like you said, like you get to make your own thing out of it, but they've got a thing that they're doing, and they've been doing it for however many years.
Yeah, exactly. So the learning process of this new set was quite complex, because I was having to learn like how to play it as well as learning what the parts are. Yeah. And figuring out like sort of, you know, playing the congas and then moving to the shaker and then playing them both, and then I'm on the tambourine. And there's a certain thing with percussion where you have to like put it down before the bar ends so that you can start the next thing when the bar starts. Yeah. And as a drummer, like that in the beginning felt really wrong to me, because like if you stopped playing a drum part before the bar ended and then started again, it would just sound really weird. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I had to like figure that out. Yeah. And then the songs themselves I just sort of did by ear, to be honest. There was some percussion parts on the live tracks that I was sent, so I just sort of figured out what to do. Yeah. And just went with that, really. And then, so that was like over a week. I just got all the songs down and then was just rolling them over and over and over again till I felt like sort of in a comfortable place. And then like 2 weeks later I flew to Mexico and played it.
2 weeks later. Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, it's like insane to me, but I'm also like, oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, in my job, I could do something like throw something out there in 2 weeks that I learned really quickly. So, but just in my head, as like a person that has no concept of what it takes to be able to learn all that stuff, I'm like, that is the most impressive thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was quite a feat to take on, I think. But it just goes back to the thing that I was saying at the beginning. Like, when you're in it, you're just doing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was just like, cool, well, this is what I need to get done.
Yeah.
I have to be able to play the whole set by the time I get to Mexico. Like, that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever way that comes about, it's going to come about.
Yeah.
And that's just what I did. But I do tell a lie. I did actually play with the band once before we got to Mexico. I did a TV show with them in February.
Okay.
Which was not long after I just got the gig.
Okay.
But there was only one song.
Yeah, it's probably one or two, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's when I actually met them, and then I went to Mexico. But then we had like a bit of a sound check, did like a few of the songs, and then, yeah, it was just straight into the show.
Wow.
I think it was like 17,000 people, just like...
Well, yeah, and the 1975 are a little bit... Well, they are way further along in their, like, career progression probably than Declan is, and have this year taken off to like another level. So is it like a different level of anything, of like professionalism, of pressure, of playing to a bigger audience, or is it just the same thing because you're not processing it?
I don't know. I would say that on paper there should be more pressure, but I think I've always been such a perfectionist musically. So whether I'm playing on my own to no one in my studio, or I'm playing to like, you know, thousands of people, I still put the same amount of pressure on myself because I just like want to do well.
Yeah.
And if I don't do well, then I just like beat myself up about it. So it's just like I say it's probably just the same. The amount of people out front doesn't really make much of a difference for me. It's more like my own personal, like, I don't know, satisfaction, I guess.
But I think that's what makes people that are the best at their career the best at what they do, is when they're like motivated intrinsically, or the pressure that they put on themselves comes from like only what is coming from them, and they like are able to shut all the rest of that like outside or external influence out and just start focusing on just doing the best job they can in whatever space that they're in.
Yeah, no, totally that actually. You almost go into a bit of a bubble, to be honest with you. And I think for me, especially when I'm playing drums or I'm just on the stage or practicing, I definitely go into this sort of headspace where I'm really like focused on what I'm doing, and like I just want to like do it really well, the best that I can in that moment. And it's kind of super subconscious. I don't even really think about it. And I find actually, and I'm sure a lot of people that play music will say the same thing, that it's the minute that you start thinking about what you're doing is when it actually all starts to go wrong. You know, especially on the stage, you just have to like you have to not think, and it's just the most weird thing ever. But yeah, it's so easy to like get inside your own head. Yeah. And then you start overthinking everything that you're doing. Yeah. And then it all just feels really weird. Yeah. You know? It's probably just something that's like so instinctual that you're just like relying on what you know how to do, and that's it. Yeah, that's it, 100%. And it's so easily done as well. Sometimes it's just like, I mean, it can just, even if you're having a bad day, it's easy to just be a bit inside your own head, and you're going on the stage and maybe you don't feel as up for it as you usually do, and then you just start thinking like, oh my God, am I playing too fast? Am I playing too slow? Am I too loud? Blah, you know? And more often than not, you come off stage, you watch the video back, and everything that you thought was happening wasn't. Yeah. You know, and it's just totally inside yourself. Yeah. But that's something that's coming from you, right? Like nobody in the crowd is processing that even the slightest bit. 100%. I think as well, for me, I rely heavily on the crowd's energy. And if I feel like maybe the crowd's a bit lower energy, then I start reflecting that back onto me. Why they're low energy? Oh God, that's because I'm not playing well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously it's not because of that. Maybe it's a Monday night and they just all finished work, you know? Yeah. But oh my God, I process through that same narrative in therapy like every week. I'm just so like, oh my God, that person like said sounds good with a period instead of an exclamation point. They hate me. Yeah. I did everything wrong. But that makes sense when the crowd is whatever, weird vibes for whatever reason. Yeah, that's it. And some people just, you know, some countries especially, they don't go mental. They listen like actively, and they like to sit and listen, and they're quiet, you know, like Japan's quite like that. Yeah. They don't go mental after every song. I've heard that. It's very reserved. Like just very quiet. Yeah. So you finish a song and it's like, yeah, it's like you could almost hear a pin drop sometimes. And it makes you feel like, well, this is going terribly. Yeah. But obviously it's not. It's just because they're like respectful nature, and they just aren't the sort of people to be like, yeah, fucking go on. Like, they're just not like that. Yeah. You know?
What's the wildest crowd you've ever played to?
Oh my God. I mean, the wildest crowd, it 100% hands down would be a Declan crowd.
Okay.
They used to just go mental.
Really?
I would say it's probably somewhere up in Scotland.
Okay.
It might be a Glasgow crowd, or it might be like a Manchester crowd.
Okay.
Honestly,
that tracks to me.
Yeah, the North do it better always.
Agreed.
The North do it so much better. It's they just lose their shit. Yeah. And honestly, some of the shows that I did with Declan, like they'd be moshing in songs that were like not moshing songs. Like,
oh my God.
It was fun. It was great. I love crowds that do that. You know, I love it when they're just like throwing themselves at each other and they're just going mad.
Yeah.
You know? I live for it. It's great.
Yeah.
And it again like comes back to the energy thing, like, because you know that they're going nuts and they're having a great time. It then comes back to you and then that goes back to them and it's like this.
Always. So what's life like as a touring musician? You've been on tour for how long now?
This year, I would say I've probably give or take a couple of weeks off here and there, probably since March.
Okay.
So what's that, like 6 months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it like?
It's busy.
Yeah.
It makes the years go really quick.
Okay.
To be honest. I don't really know where the past 5 years has gone. It's just flew. Obviously, actually, no, tell a lie, because COVID was terrible. We'll get to COVID.
I feel like I've been touring for so long, now I'm just stuck in my house.
Yeah, it was quite something.
Yeah.
It's fun, though. Like, obviously, like any job, it has its ups and downs, but I would say that because it's such a high-intensity job that those peaks and troughs probably felt a bit more intensely. Like, obviously with the adrenaline on the stage, but then like if you're having a rubbish day, I don't have any home comforts around me and it makes it feel a lot worse.
Yeah.
And obviously we all have each other and that's nice, but sometimes you just like, I just want my girlfriend here.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that what you have to lean on though? Is just like each other? You're like, we are sharing this like very unique experience that nobody can really understand what that's like.
Yeah.
We just have, whether we like it or not, we have to just kind of lean on each other.
And I think that we're lucky, like everyone in the band, especially like when you're with other session players, I think that you're lucky to like live in a bubble that's as intense as it is with people that understand it. Because it is a difficult thing to understand when you don't do it. And it's kind of like, the worst thing about it really is not the being on tour, it's when you get home and then it's like, all of a sudden it's just like nothing.
I was going to ask about the crash.
Yeah.
I mean, do you just feel like a huge mega crash when you aren't touring?
I used to. I don't now because I started teaching in lockdown.
Okay.
And that gives me a good focus for when I'm at home.
Yeah.
Before I had that, I was an absolute mess. I'd get back off tour and I'd just be like, what do I do?
Yeah. Because you don't have like routine. Or, I mean, even you're probably like making a routine in the confines of like this really weird touring environment. You figure out like what your day looks like, and then you come home and you're like, I don't have a gym. Where do I do my laundry? What do I do in my evenings?
Yeah, that's it. And it's also just having, when you're touring, there's always someone tells you where you need to be, what time you need to be there, what you're doing, what time you're eating. You know, literally everything is laid out for you. The only thing you have to organise is like when you're going to go to the gym, when you're going to go to the spa, when you're going to wake up or shower or go down for breakfast. Like, there isn't really much like sort of pressure on you to like organise your stuff.
Yeah, like autonomy over your,
Like at home, obviously, there's chores and, you know, I have to get myself like students for lessons and, you know, I have to make sure that I'm at a certain place at a certain time, or I have to book appointments, and it's just like it translates really differently on tour, because I just get handed a day sheet every day and I get told, okay, you're going to be on stage at this time, so that means you need to be ready at this time, dinner's at this time, we're leaving the hotel at this time, so, and that's, you know, everything's laid out for me. So yeah, it used to be really weird, the sort of the difference between the two worlds. It's not as bad now, to be honest with you. Maybe because the touring's a lot more comfortable now than it used to be.
Yeah.
Back in the day when it was a bit more on the rough.
Yeah.
It was, I think because the touring itself had taken its toll, you'd get home and then it would just make it worse.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But now, because the touring is probably, way more comfortable, it doesn't make it as bad. And giving yourself focus is something that I've learned over the years. It's essential. It really is. So yeah.
Because how do you find like I don't know, like, I don't want to say like purpose outside of work because that's like a little bit hokey, but like like things outside of work when you're living in your work life 24 hours a day.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Especially because like my work is my life. Like if I could sit and play drums all day every day for the rest of my life, like probably would.
Yeah.
Because I love it. And
you're so lucky that you have that as your life.
It's cool. Like it is cool. But obviously you need to have other things.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, like, I've never really struggled to find things to keep me occupied because I'm quite easily pleased. Like I could just go take a walk in a park and look at some cool birds or some cool trees and I think, great. That's amazing.
Great, I found my purpose outside of work.
That's it. It's definitely more like, I would say, having that feeling of having a purpose has to be found in like much smaller ways. Because when I'm at home, like I really love cleaning and all that stuff. You know, when I'm on tour, making my bed and you know, I don't know, cleaning up after myself. It's just little things like that that make you feel like useful. You know. But it is difficult though.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
Do you get overstimulated by the constant company? Like how many people sleep in the tour bus with you?
Well, there's actually only 8 of us.
Okay.
Which,
that's a lot.
Actually, no, tell a lie, there's 7.
Okay.
There's 7 of us. But we don't stay in the tour bus every night.
Yeah.
So, but I have done tours where...
You're in the tour bus every night.
Tour bus every night. And there's like 12 of you. And the only alone time is when you're in the shower.
Okay.
Or if you like just take yourself out. Which I do quite often on tour. I quite like my solo adventure.
Yeah.
Just going out shopping and going out for eating and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
You know? I think everyone just gets sick of being around loads of people at some point. You know? So you just got to give and take.
Remove yourself from the situation.
That's it, yeah. And I think with, like, tour busing and then hotels... Like, hotels, just chilling on your own is really nice.
Yeah, you're just like, thank fuck for like a shower that is not in a bus and a comfortable bed.
That's it. But I think the fortunate thing is like everyone that I've toured with and tour with currently is really nice.
Yeah.
So I don't get sick of their company.
Yeah.
I think that's what is the big difference between it, really.
Yeah.
You're with people that you don't enjoy touring with, then you can very quickly get sick of being around them.
Yeah, because your social life is with them, and you don't have a choice but to socialize with them. Your work life's with them. You're sleeping in confines with them.
That's it.
You don't have a choice.
And it's kind of like an unspoken thing, really, with the touring industry is that being a session player is like 20% playing, 80% what you like to be around, because you spend most of your time sat in a room with that person doing nothing. So you have to be able to be sat in a room with and not piss people off. Because if it doesn't matter if you're the best player in the world, if you piss people off, then they're not going to want you to be on tour. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, it's an essential part. Like you have to just be chill.
Yeah. You just have to check yourself and be like, how do I not be annoying so I don't piss off? I would struggle with that. Like, how can I be the least amount of annoying as possible because I'm going to be with these people for 6 months? Do you get to like see the cities that you go to?
Yeah, I mean, again, sometimes.
Do you want to?
Yeah, definitely. Like sometimes we get a few days off if we're in a place, but then, earlier this year we were in Bangkok for 18 hours.
Yeah.
So we turned up, played and left,
Yeah.
So it fully depends on the schedule. If I do get an opportunity to like be in a city for like over a certain amount of time, then I'll always try and get out to see like at least one thing of the city, just to experience it.
Yeah.
And actually, Austin is one of my favorite cities.
Really?
In America. I love it.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think the food's great, people are great, fashion's great, music's great. It's amazing.
Yeah, I really, really like it here.
Yeah, it's cool. I like those cowboy boots as well. I've been thinking about getting some cowboy boots.
Something on the bottom of them. Yeah, I like Oh, what's on the bottom of my shoe?
Oh no.
Oh my God. These are new cowboy boots. Well, clearly it's like the plastic.
Oh no, you didn't take it off.
Oh, that's why I was slipping on the floor earlier.
Oh no. That
Oh my
looks
God,
like it's
wow.
satisfying to take off as well.
Well, because I live in New York, this is the one time I get to cosplay as somebody that lives near
Yes, that's true.
So
people turn their nose up at you if you wore cowboy boots in New York.
If you wear them in the right other ensemble, but like I would never wear this in New York. Jean shorts.
Really?
This is like too
country girl.
Too country girl.
No way.
Yeah. So
you need a suit and a Starbucks.
4 pairs of cowboy boots. I'm here for 3 days. So I was like packing my suitcase last night. I was like, how many is too many? And I landed on
never too many.
5 was too many, but 4 is the perfect amount.
Yeah, 100%. You have to do like night and day.
Yeah, I think so. I'll just have like a night look and a day look for every time I'm here.
I need to get some. I think this is the city to get some.
Austin's great for like vintage shopping, like I don't know, just like random consignment kind of stuff. I always come back from Austin with like really cool stuff.
Yeah. The trouble is my suitcase is already full.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my girlfriend is coming to New York.
No way.
9th of November. Is
it like so hard to maintain a relationship while you're on the road?
It's not hard. No.
Because you've probably figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, this is the longest tour I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like the one that I'm on currently. And it's the longest tour, well, it's the longest tour I've ever done in my life, let alone since we've been together.
For a while longer.
It is, but it's not hard to maintain it.
Yeah.
Because we just have a really good relationship.
Yeah. How long have you been together?
2.5 years.
Okay.
She's the best. Oh. Shout out Charlotte.
We love you, Charlotte.
And I think the good thing about it, obviously it's difficult not being able to just be there with each other, but we're quite good at, like, I mean, yesterday we were literally on FaceTime for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And we're not chatting for the whole 6 hours. Sometimes we're
just
doing our days, but we're just on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, she's watching TV, she's eating her lunch. You know, I was at the laundrette today and she was just there watching me do my laundry. And, you know, a lot of people think, what's the point in that? That's really boring. But I just enjoy being there.
Yeah.
And knowing that she's just there. It definitely helps, especially when you're sort of getting into the thickness of a tour. So I've been here for like a month now, I think. And it's starting to get to that point where it's, you know, I really would love to even just go home for a couple of days.
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
But if you have like an end in sight or something, or like a break, I feel like that gives you something to like look forward.
Yeah.
To like when my husband and I first started dating when I was living in the UK, it was like my visa was always coming to an end in like 6 months, and it was always like when am I gonna get kicked out of the country? Are we gonna have to do long distance until whatever length of time? And we were like, okay, well, we can do it, but as long as we know that there's an end date. But if it's like I'm getting deported and I have to go home and there's no way that we're gonna ever be physically in the same place together, then what?
Yeah.
Like, we could certainly try, but there's like, we're just gonna do this forever and ever and ever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if it was like, Gabi, you're going on tour and it's indefinite, I'd be like, I mean, I'm not sure that that's like feasible for me.
But it just gives you like a hope or like something to look forward to.
That's it. And I think because this tour, we get home on the 4th of December, so we left on the 15th of September, so it's quite a long one. But Charlotte's coming on the 9th of November, so it's quite nice, like, in the middle.
Yeah.
And we've also got 10 days off in New York. So we get to New York, and then it almost is like a bit of I know I'm not at home, but in my head, it's like being at home. Even though I've got shows in that time, I'm going to be, like, settled. You know? And Charlotte's coming, it's going to be really nice. And then it's only 2 weeks after that. So for me, the tour kind of ends in, like, 3-4 weeks. And then I've just got, like, a little bit of a break, and then I've got 2 more weeks. Yeah. You know? It just kind of breaks it up. In my head, it makes it make sense. Yeah. You know? As opposed to, like, thinking, oh, well, I'm on a 3-month tour, and there's still, like, 50 nights left or something. Do you know what I mean?
It's just girl math.
That's it.
The teens say?
Girl math.
Girl math.
Yeah.
Girl math.
I've been seeing those math videos on TikTok. Yeah. So funny. But yeah, I think it just makes it more digestible, to be honest with you. It's always a weird thing with touring where, like, I hate to leave, but I love to go. Yeah. You know? And when you haven't got someone at home, it makes it, obviously, it's way easier to just go on tour forever, you know? But it does make it really difficult to leave. Yeah. but it's also something that I would never want to stop doing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a weird thing of like it's a weird like juxtaposition of it, really.
I feel like I would thrive on tour. I mean, not musically, but in general, as a human being, I feel like I would. It's like got everything that I feel like I love. Like I love being in a really close knit group of people for like a prolonged period of time. I love adrenaline of like doing something in front of people. I like love traveling. I love just like, I don't know. I just feel like I would be great at it. So if you need somebody to come and be a hype girl or...
You know what? So when we're in the market with some backing dancers, I'll give you an email.
Yeah, let's bring that back. We need
or just someone that has loads of cowboy boots.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I can't promise I will deliver on the dance. I mean, I will dance. I can't promise I will dance in a way that people will enjoy consuming my dancing. But if you are in the market for somebody...
They're line dancing.
I'm like, I have to have one marketable skill that you could use.
I mean, you're a podcaster, so that's definitely a marketable skill, for sure.
Yeah, I do lots of things. None that are useful to going on tour, but I feel like I would do great.
I've always thought that like a tour-based... I mean, there probably is one, but like a tour-based podcast series would be sick.
Oh, that would be sick.
You just talk about like touring and stuff.
Well, it is like such a niche thing that... most people don't know somebody that tours. Like when you're saying nobody knows what I do or understands what I do, it is like such a niche specific thing.
It is, for sure. And I think a lot of people are curious about it as well. Quite often when I meet people and I tell them what I do, they're like, oh, that's crazy. Like, and then there's like loads of questions.
Yeah. Do you feel like your life's changed since you've joined the 1975 tour?
Yeah, I would say that it has, for sure. I don't know if it was like... I don't know how, but I can just feel like an energy shift, you know? I'm quite I feel energies quite intensely. And I feel like that it was kind of... I don't know if it was maybe like, because it was a new thing, that it sort of made me open up to this new opportunity, and then... I got like it made me feel like more confident. I don't know why. Maybe because I feel like as a session player, you're constantly worrying about, okay, well, when this campaign ends, what's my next gig going to be? You know, what's my next gig? And it's constant worry, obviously, because it's never guaranteed. And I think with every new gig you get, it kind of, gives you a bit of, I suppose, reassurance that you're doing well, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say I definitely changed in that aspect, where I think I maybe did lose a little bit of confidence over the last couple of years, and then it kind of made me feel a bit more confident again, which was nice. And I would say that in general, I've just learned a lot about myself because I put myself in a really I just threw myself in the deep end, really.
Yeah.
And I feel like that I sort of proved to myself as well that I am capable as well, which definitely helped me to change in an energy way, not like like the way who I am as a person, not like my values or anything, but just the way that I guess I perceive myself, which is kind of mad, but I think but I mean,
no, I don't think that's mad, because you're doing... Like, when you're touring with somebody for so long, you're touring with Declan for 7 years, like, there's probably a comfort level to it. Like, you know how you communicate with your other bandmates. You know the music. You know what the crowd's going to be like. You know the energy. You know what the routine's going to be like. And you get kind of, like, a level of comfortability in that, and then you move to something else, which is, like, you're still comfortable in what you're doing, but it's kind of more unknown. I don't think that sounds like weird or off. I don't know.
No,
and you're like, oh, I can do it.
That's totally it. I think just not knowing what to expect. You know, and then realizing that it's fine. And it was great, and I'm really glad that I made that decision. I think it's probably because in the beginning it felt really daunting and scary and new, and like, oh God, have I done the right thing? And then you sort of come out the other side and you're like, it's almost like breath of fresh air, like, it all worked out and it's great, and, you know, it's fine. So yeah, there definitely was a change. But to be honest with you, I've been ever-changing since I first started touring.
Yeah.
I think you just start to learn. The only real way to learn about this industry is to, like, do it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that does mean sometimes you get mugged off and you get treated like a doormat.
Yeah.
And I think through those experiences, you just grow a backbone and learn to stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And learn that actually you need to set boundaries, because otherwise people will take advantage of that, and will be a detriment to, like, your personal growth.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, that's not okay.
Is it as toxic as it seems from the outside?
It can be, for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's so many parts of this industry that are amazing. There's so many people that are great, but there's always going to be people in every industry, and I think music even more so. People that do sort of take advantage of people that don't know, that don't know any better.
Yeah.
Like, because especially, like, financially, it's just it's just business, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
That's all it is. And if you don't know, then you do get mugged off.
Yeah.
You know? And it's only from learning those life lessons that you sort of start to build up a sort of thing in your head about, like, what to expect for yourself.
Yeah.
You know? And I think with every new thing that you learn, the more that you, like, grow professionally and stuff. And it's just a really important skill to have about you. Not even just in this industry, I think in business in general, especially as a woman, you know? And I hate to bring that
what
up,
is that like? No, I wanted to ask you about what your experience is like being a woman in this industry, especially like a female drummer. There's not a lot of you.
But that's it. And it's kind of, I'd say that I've had a really easy ride with it compared to some people. I've never really found myself in the face of, like, sexism or anything like that, but I think I've also always worked from no other reason than pure just chance. I've worked with a lot of females throughout my career. So, but there's definitely, like, an underlying thing of having to, like, there's a level of expectance that people expect you to not have, you know? So you need to sort of exceed their expectation. And I think it's just a sort of, it's never something that's been said to me, but it's just something you can almost feel. It's like, oh, I'm a girl and they're going to expect me to, like, not be very good, so I need to, like, be better than they would even think that I would be, you know? And I think that's probably where a lot of my complex about, like, just getting it right probably comes from as well. Just wanting to do, like, really good. Not because I'm a girl, but because I'm good at what I do. Do you know what I mean?
It's just like a common experience of any woman, because I relate to that so hard. And I work a lot with, outside the podcast, I work a lot with the United Nations.
Right.
And it's so internalized in me when I show up to a meeting. I'm so aware of, like, my presence in that space, even though I know I fucking earned my seat. I've worked my ass off to get here.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm sitting there going, like, is my hair too long? Is it, like, looking unprofessional? Am I, like, how do I set myself up so that I'm sitting in this room with a boardroom with, you know, 12 people that are all men in suits? How do I, like, make sure that I rise to the level that they're expected of me when I already have, because I'm sitting here right now, and that's why I am here. I didn't just waltz in because, like, I'm a tick box exercise.
But in some cases,
so
it is because of that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
like,
true. I
we've
mean,
got a woman with tick box, you know,
yeah,
and it's just like, but that's what you want to not be.
Yeah.
And prove, and I think that's probably where it comes from.
Yeah.
To, like, prove that you're not just the tick box.
Yeah.
You know? Which is, it's just like a weird vicious cycle with it, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So internalized deep in you forever. And
That's
I'm like,
it.
have to be so aware of that all the time.
Yeah. But I feel like I should also add that no one I've ever worked with has actually made me feel like that.
Yeah.
No artist I've ever worked with has ever made me feel like I need to prove myself because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
It's just that I think it's probably just something that inherently is instilled into you when you're a woman in something that's very male dominated. I feel like it's just a normal thing to, like, do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's bizarre, really, that we feel the need to do that.
I know. I'm like, but is it bizarre, or has, like, the not to be like, has society fucked us as women? But like, kind of, like, is it, has society like set us up for this? That even though, nobody's ever said to me in a room, you don't deserve to be here.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Yeah. And I have to like check myself constantly with that. I think I feel especially with like my appearance or how I like look or how I'm dressed or how I perceive, because I'm like, you know, I like fashion. I like nice clothes. I like investing in nice clothes. And when I go to a meeting or an event or something for work and I like look maybe like slightly fashionable, I'm like, is this appropriate for work? And then I have to be like, who gives a shit? I don't care if somebody perceives me as not looking professional enough for this space. Like, I am professional enough for this space. So 100%. Whatever. But it's like constantly just having to be like, nope, stop. Just go.
Yeah, and I think the moment that you actually start to just sort of like not give a fuck is the moment that actually you just start probably living a bit more freely.
Yeah.
And be like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wear what I want to wear, and I don't really care what anyone thinks of me.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like that's a really good place to get to. But unfortunately, a lot of people struggle to get there.
Yeah.
Because of it. There's just so much like judgment and stuff.
Yeah. Fuck the patriarchy.
You know what I mean?
I wanted to tell you, I had a dream last night. So my flight this morning was at 6 a.m. So like, you know, you have to wake up at 3 to get to the airport, and like you're not really sleeping. So you're just kind of like, oh, am I going to miss my alarm?
Yeah.
So I was like writing down like a couple notes for the interview, and I wanted to ask you about your tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Which I didn't. But I had a dream. I don't have any tattoos, and I had a dream that we went and got matching tattoos after the interview. And I woke up and I was like, okay.
Imagine if your first tattoo was matching one with me.
We just hit it off so well that I was like, would you like to get
a podcast microphone?
My first tattoo, a matching tattoo, please. But your tattoos are sick.
Thank you so much.
I love them so much. They look so good on you.
Thank you.
I'm like in a moment where I'm like, do I get one?
Yeah.
But I don't know what I would get.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're sort of overthinking it a bit?
Yeah, probably. I've never wanted one in my life, and I'd say in the last 6 months, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Could I? Should I? And then I just don't have anything in particular that I want to get, so I'm just, I don't know.
I would say, I mean, the more you get, the less you care.
Yeah.
My first one was this, and you can see that it's a little bit jagged because I was literally shaking like a shitting dog because I was so scared. And then I got it, and then I was like, that was so fine.
Yeah.
And then my next one was like this half sleeve here, and it was like fine. And then I've just like...
The next one after the heart was a half sleeve.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah. But a lot of them are actually done by the same girl in Brighton. She's called G Hawk.
Yeah.
She's really sick. I also have a few that I've got just from my travels, which I quite like.
Yeah.
But the majority of the like fine line detail ones are done by her. And to be honest, she's got a style where it doesn't really hurt too much. So it makes it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of what to get, I just get what you think's nice.
Yeah.
You know? Once you start, you won't stop, because my girlfriend got her first tattoo. We went to Hawaii in the summer, and she got one. We went to San Francisco after she got her first one. She's already got her second one.
Really?
And she's already got her third one booked.
That's what everyone says. And that's what I'm scared of. I'm like, if I get one, even if I would just get like a tiny little one just to start, just
it's a gateway.
Baby, it's going to be a gateway.
Yeah.
So.
It is. But I love tattoos.
Yeah.
It's just art, isn't it? So sick.
Yeah. I love them on other people. They look so sick on everyone else. I'm just like, ugh. But also then I go, I don't think I'm cool enough. Like, I think I'm cool, but I think I'm cool in a way that is not tattoo cool.
Nah, you could get tattoos, 100%. You could get some cowboy boots tattooed.
All right, well, let's go. We're going.
Yeah.
We got I booked an appointment for us. Matching tattoos. Plot twist. In my sleep after the dream,
This is actually how all of your podcasts end, and you go and get a tattoo. You go and force your client to get a tattoo with you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, I've never told the story on the podcast before. This is so embarrassing. And then we can wrap up from here. So this is like a couple years ago. My parents bought like a condo in Florida, and it was the first time that I went down to go see it. And it was like the first night, and I was waking up in the morning. I hadn't even put my contacts in, but I had a dream that night that I bought a condo in Florida. And so I was like, nice. I wonder what they cost. And so I literally, my phone is this close to my face because I don't have my contacts in. And this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I'm saying this. I've like told no one this story. I find this apartment and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I click on it and it asked me to plug in, like I have to log in to see how much it costs. So I make an account, put my email address, put my phone number, blah, blah, blah. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm getting a phone call and it's from a Florida number. And I forgot that I had put my information in on this website.
Yeah.
So I like answer the phone and so there's a guy on another line and I'm so groggy. It's probably 6:15 in the morning. I like get out of bed and I'm like, hello. And he's asking me like questions and he's like, oh, I saw you put your information in for this condo. He's asking me all these questions. I can't believe I'm saying that. Then he asked me for my social security number.
Oh, no.
And I gave it to him.
You're kidding.
I was so, I don't know. I was just like half in a dream and I was trying to get him off the phone. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, I was like, we can make an appointment to talk later about it and fully intending not to answer the phone later. And then he asked me for it. It was just like, I just need to like pull a couple things from your file. And so I gave him my social security number. And then I get an email about 10 minutes later that they just did a hard pull on my credit and I had been approved for a mortgage to buy this condo in Florida.
No.
And
oh my
so
God.
I am panicking.
So now I live in Florida.
My credit score plummets like 75 points.
No way.
I'm like calling the place. My husband's calling the place being like, take it back. And they're like, we can't take it back. We already did a hard pull. She authorized it. And I was like, I didn't authorize. I don't have my contacts in. I'm just like,
no way. So what happened?
I'm still recovering. My credit score is still recovering.
Oh my word.
So
did you go
all of that to say,
or?
You can't do anything about it. I mean, I was like, I'm not going to buy a condo in Florida. Thank you for the mortgage approval. It's good to know I can get approved for the mortgage.
Oh my God.
So all that to say, I don't do anything off the back of a weird dream anymore. So
yeah,
I did not book us matching tattoo appointments.
I mean, I would get a tattoo, but I love tattoos, so.
Okay, well, tell me what to get and we'll go.
I think we've actually got a day coming up on this tour called, well, we've sort of labelled it Cats and Tats.
Okay.
And we've got some rescue cats coming in to hang out with us. And we've got a tattoo artist coming in to give us tattoos backstage. So
oh my gosh.
I'm very much looking forward to that day.
Okay.
It's going to be...
That sounds
amazing.
Like my dream day. Well, the tattoos maybe not, but the cats. Yeah, all in for the cats.
Cats would be great.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm honored to be your first ever podcast. I hope you had fun.
I loved it, honestly. It's been so fun.
Good.
It's been really good.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Instagram at Gabrielle Marie King. TikTok, I think at Gabrielle Marie King, the same. I think those are the two main ones. Okay. I have Twitter and Threads as well, but I don't really post much on there. So.
Well, can they go watch you on tour?
You can go watch me on tour, yeah. I'm with the 1975 right now. I don't know when this is coming out.
Wednesday.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah, Wednesday, yeah.
All right, well then I'm still in the US. I'm going to be here till December. And then we've got Europe and the UK next year as well. So come check out a show. And if you want to learn drums, head to my Instagram. Send me a DM and I will get you booked in for a lesson. I teach online via Zoom. And I also do some online teaching as well. I've got an face-to-face teaching day coming up in New York, and I'm going to have one in LA in November too. So keep your eyes out.
Sick. And I can get all the links from you. I'll put it in the show notes and everything.
Yeah, I mean, just go to my Instagram and message me. That's usually the best thing to do.
Cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. I'm not really a linky person on social media.
I'm a linky person.
Like,
just slide
click
in.
here for this, click there for that. Just message me.
Just slide on in. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. It's been great.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ugh.